I like to think we live our lives in two main outlets, action and emotion. Action being the things we do, emotion being how we feel about it. You know, we love something, or we hate something, or we're afraid of something. Emotion is the language behind the action. Now, clowns have a really important job in a circus, and I'll explain why later, but that is to display emotion at its simplest form, through something as simple as how they walk, or how they hold their face, or even how they breathe. As long as they are making a connection with the audience, you know how they're feeling. No words required. Now, this idea of embodied emotion forming relationships is not new, nor is it exclusive to clowns. I would argue that emotional connection is a centerpiece of the human condition. People crave connection. We rely on relationships. It's a motivating force behind almost everything we do. And Judaism is so interesting because, at least I think, that this idea of connection is at its core. Relationships and community are such a centerpiece of Judaism that some people think it is more of a culture than religion, myself included. I could give you a laundry list of experiences I've had at youth group or summer camp, and even working for Metro Chicago Hillel that has furthered my emotional and spiritual growth. But what about the religious side? What about formalized prayer? Look, honestly, I hated going to shul growing up. Right? I hated wearing ties. I never knew what was going on. I was always uncomfortable. I would rather spend Friday night services hanging out in the bathroom with my friends, getting yelled at by the ushers, than sitting in the pews. And when I reflect back on those experiences, it used to leave a bitter taste in my mouth because I felt like it was my fault. Like I wasn't smart enough for my own faith, like I was doing something wrong. And then I had a realization that kind of put things into perspective and helped quell my fears. I realized that a circus, something that I love, and going to temple, something that I don't love as much, are more similar than not. Now, hear me out. A circus has three main characters, okay? There's a ringmaster, the shock and awe folks, the acrobats and the aerialists and the jugglers, and then the clowns. It's a ringmaster's job to lead the audience throughout the evening, to tell them what's coming next and remind them what just happened. They're the emcees of the show, and that sounds a lot like a rabbi, right? It's a rabbi's job to lead the congregation throughout the service, to give their own interpretation of the prayers and the Torah portion, to make sure that everyone knows what's going on. They take center stage, or center bima, if you will. And then the shock and awe folks, right? The tightrope walkers and the fire breathers. And they are superhuman. They do the unfathomable. Now, who does that translate to? Well, I don't know about you, but when a cantor hits those notes with such precision and grace, it's amazing, right? It's almost superhuman. I could never do it. And then there are the clowns. Now, clowns are defined as supremely human. And the reason that they're so important is because it is their job to allow the audience to breathe after watching other people risk their lives. It is their job to let the audience enjoy the simplicity of their silliness. Now, who are the clowns? Well, I would argue that it's me and you and you and you and all of us. The congregants are the clowns, and it goes back to that emotional connection. Look, I didn't go to shul to pray when I was younger. I didn't. I went to hang out with my friends in the bathroom. My parents went to talk to their friends about their children and work, and a lot of people go just for the community that surrounds it. But the thing is, it's the prayer that gets us in the room in the first place. If the rabbi is the ringmaster and the congregants are the clowns, then the shul is the big top. So I challenge you, next time you go to synagogue, go alone. Sit next to a stranger. And really take a moment to look at them and have them look at you and be vulnerable and trust your inner clown. Because guess what? They are just as much of a clown as you are. Thank you.